another Friday weekend right around the corner. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade, of course, here to give you an update on what's happening out there in the tropics. We are still fairly close to what was the peak of hurricane season. That was September 10th, and things are still fairly busy out there, even about 5 days after the peak of hurricane season. So we are going to continue with the threat for more of these tropical cyclones developing, and that will likely be the case for at least the next month before we start to see things kind of fall off towards the end of October and especially into November, at least historically. However, anytime during hurricane season, you can always have something popping up out there. So that's why we are here to keep you updated. Right now, we've got 3 systems we're monitoring out there and another potential system that could roll off of the west coast of Africa by this weekend or early next week. For now, though, we're still tracking Hurricane Lee heading towards New England and Atlantic portions of Canada. We've got Hurricane Margot in the north central Atlantic, and we have newly formed Tropical Depression number 15 in the southern portion of the central Atlantic. So we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. We've got a big portion of the New England coast under tropical storm warnings right now, and that extends into Atlantic portions of Canada over towards Nova Scotia, even some hurricane watches still over into portions of Canada because there could potentially be some hurricane force winds there. But tropical storm warnings up and down the New England coast for Lee, which is approaching from the south. It has gotten a little bit weaker, Category 1 hurricane, 80-mile-per-hour winds. However, those tropical storm force winds extend out from the center over 300 miles. So even though it is a little bit weaker, the impacts could be widespread because it's such a large system. Movement currently to the north at 20 miles per hour, and we've got pressure at 965 millibars. So Lee will continue to likely weaken a bit over the next 24 hours, and it actually is moving into cooler waters, and it will start to lose those tropical characteristics over the next 24 hours. So it is expected to make landfall right around southern portions of Nova Scotia likely by Saturday afternoon and evening as a post-tropical system most likely, but it's still going to spread some impacts. The threat for coastal flooding, a little bit of storm surge, and also the potential for those 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, maybe even a little stronger, over towards Boston and other portions of New England for Saturday and to early Sunday. As we go through the weekend, Lee will continue weakening, pushing farther north down to 45-mile-per-hour winds by Sunday afternoon. So it will be a weaker system as it starts to roll away from the New England area. Let's talk about Tropical Depression 15. This is our newest system. This was Invest 97L. It is now Tropical Depression number 15 out in the central Atlantic, and it's much further south than Lee and also Margot, and it is forecast to continue to track to the northwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So right now it is at 35 miles per hour. It's close to becoming a tropical storm. The name will likely be Nigel, and that could happen as early as this evening or tonight. So if it doesn't happen tonight, it most likely will happen over the weekend. Pressure at 1,007 millibars and wind at 35 miles per hour, but it is expected to strengthen to 45 miles per hour, and that would make it a tropical storm for Saturday afternoon, up to 70 miles per hour for Sunday afternoon, and a Category 2 hurricane by Monday afternoon with 100-mile-per-hour winds, and a Cat 3 hurricane by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week with 115-mile-per-hour winds. So this thing will start to strengthen fairly quickly. But the good news for the U.S. is that models are indicating another shift, another curve to the north. So this one will likely get close to Bermuda once again, but it looks like it's not going to be a big threat for Florida or the mid-Atlantic coast of the U.S. After it passes Bermuda, we'll have to see if it gets close to New England again. But for now, it looks like Tropical Depression 15 will not be heading into the Caribbean Sea. It's not going to head into the Gulf, but still late next week, we'll have to monitor it and see if it could get once again close to the northeastern U.S. or portions of Canada. I want to flip back to Hurricane Lee and show you this graphic. I was talking about how large that wind field was. Tropical storm force winds extending out over 300 miles from the center. So even though it looks like Lee will make landfall in Atlantic portions of Canada, right around Nova Scotia, it's still going to spread some of that tropical storm force wind back towards Boston and portions of New England. So that's why we do still have those tropical storm warnings for portions of New England at this point. We also still have Tropical Storm Margot out there. Of course, it was a hurricane. It has weakened to a tropical storm. It's still expected to do a big circle or a big loop over the next few days and just gradually weaken. But overall, it's not expected to impact land, so we don't have to worry too much about Margot, which is now a tropical storm. So we do still have a couple of systems that we're monitoring out there: Margot, Lee, and also Tropical Depression 15. We've got another potential system that we are watching. We're expecting another tropical wave to roll off of the west coast of Africa, and it could become eventually a tropical depression or a tropical storm by next week. Right now, 0% shot for that happening over the next 2 days, just a 20% chance for it happening over the next week, but still an area to watch. It's going to be this area in yellow where we could see that development, and then it would start to drift to the west. So right now, our biggest concern continues to be Lee, impacting portions of New England over the next 24 hours, bringing that heavy rain, the threat for that coastal flooding, and also the potential for some very strong wind gusts. But next week, of course, our attention will be turned to Tropical Depression 15, which will likely be Tropical Storm Nigel and Hurricane Nigel by next week. So our models by the middle of next week, Wednesday, 7 a.m., showing likely Hurricane Nigel getting very close to Bermuda, but not getting super close to the U.S. yet. So hopefully it will stay away, but Bermuda could definitely have some impacts from Nigel by the middle of next week. So far for this hurricane season, we've had 14 named storms, 5 hurricanes, 3 major hurricanes. We are right around where we would normally be for an entire average season, but of course we've still got the rest of September, October, and November to get through, so it will likely end up being an above average season. Out in the Gulf of Mexico, pretty quiet. Caribbean, pretty quiet at this point, but still super warm water temps out there. We've got some buoy temps near 90 degrees there, middle to upper 80s for the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of readings in the 80s as well for parts of the Atlantic. So still some very warm water. So any of these additional systems that can get going will still have a lot of fuel in the form of that warm water out there to work with. So that's why we are monitoring things closely. We've got Lee and Margot right now. The next name on that list will be Nigel, and we will likely have Tropical Storm or Hurricane Nigel over the next 24 to 36 hours out in the central Atlantic. So make sure to stay aware, stay prepared. Nothing heading towards southeast Texas for now, but make sure that you are up to date on everything you need to know, everything you need to do to be prepared for any tropical systems headed our way. Also, make sure to grab our Fox 26 weather app. You can get the latest tropical activity reports and also your local weather. You can track what's on radar and a lot of other things when you have that Fox 26 weather app downloaded on your phone. That is your Friday tropical update. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. Enjoy the rest of your day. This right here.
You know, you have to have a thick skin when you become a public personality, especially if you're a woman. A lot of my friends are stunned when I tell them that there are people out there who have no issue telling us how to dress, what to wear, that we're too big or too skinny, that they don't like our hair. In fact, when I first started working here 10 years ago in my hometown, a lot of people were even mad at the way I pronounced my last name. It's always something. Unfortunately, that is the welcome our new traffic anchor has received here in North Texas. Demetria Obalor woke up today to find that someone had made a public post about her size and her clothes. But before she could respond, people from across the country were defending her on Twitter, including music megastar Chance the Rapper. Demetria took to Facebook to say this.
The controversy is coming from people who aren't too happy with the way that I look on television, saying, oh, her body is too big for that dress, or she's too curvy, or her hair is unprofessional, it's crazy, we don't like it. A quick word to those people. This is the way that I'm built. This is the way that I was born. I'm not going anywhere. So if you don't like it, you have your options. Now to the people who show love, I love you right back.
You know, Mother Teresa once said, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. Welcome aboard, Demetria. Wipe this dust off your shoulders.
Hines to get past if you want. That'll definitely help. As you're taking a wider view of the Metroplex now with our maps, Airport Freeway still looking pretty good if that's where you're headed this morning. Maybe getting over to DFW International, South North entrance. Fort Worth, no major crashes in your neck of the woods. Back to you guys. again out in Corinth. So traffic is down to just one travel lane. It's going to be slow and go as you're making your way through this area. And then just south of there, out in Lake Dallas area, collision that just happened, 35E northbound this time, right around Hunley. So traffic also reduced to just one travel lane. So expect big slowdowns. Denton County not exempt from the mess that we've been seeing firsthand out in Tarrant and Dallas counties. And speaking of that, Fort Worth, we do have this collision along eastbound I-30 right at 820. East Loop 820 that's going to slow you. So as you're trying to get into Arlington this morning, you'll be down to just one travel lane as well. Had issues out in Dallas this morning, 35E northbound right at 630. 35E. So here's the biggest issue. 35E northbound is completely shut down right where it meets Loop 12. Okay, so you're going to have to use alternates like Harry Hines around this, and then Loop 12, which was just behind me, those northbound lanes down to just one as people are trying to make their way up into Farmers Branch, Carrollton, Denton County, all of that. So use Harry Hines as an alternate as you're making your way through. That'll save you some time this morning. This, once again, the biggest problem spot that we have. Coming up next, we're going to leave early as you're making your way through. Only one lane of traffic is open. You could use alternates like the Turnpike. That'd be a solid southbound connector. Collins, too, as you're heading on through. Got another issue, though, this time in Dallas. Pat Mahomes for the win. You're looking right now at that Madden 2020 cover. The 23-year-old quarterback all over it. He's the cover athlete, man. He's a star. Don't hate. He is the third youngest player in Madden history to be on the cover of the game. He was the 2018 NFL MVP last season. Mahomes threw for 5,097 passing yards, 50 touchdowns. The first set of player ratings for Madden 20 will be unveiled. And this is causing some significant slowdowns through this corridor. It's really amazing that they could even keep it open with all that's going on in the area. But right now, as you're making your way through, just know there are going to be some big delays along your service roads right in that area. If you want to exit early at Illinois, you could still kind of avoid some of these slowdowns here. If you connect to Ewing and head north and get back over onto 35E, you can get back onto eastbound I-30 and be on your way. All right, you just got to leave early. Once again, use those alternates, okay, as you're heading on through. Now, out in Dallas, we've got another serious issue. This one just happened along 35E southbound right at Inwood. The freeway is shut down after reports of a collision in the area here. Crash, so left lanes blocked off in the area. This after construction, just wrapped up not that long ago. So big delays through that corridor. And plus, we've got some slowdown like 635 through Dallas. It's in your westbound lane. From DPD, they tell us that they're working a shooting in this area, and that's why this freeway is shut down at this time. So as you're trying to commute to maybe places like Hutchins this morning, 310 highway could be very helpful, especially to be looking to connect to I-20. So really get a head start on your commute. Once again, South 45 completely shut down at Simpson Stewart as police are working a shooting in the area. Now out in Grand Prairie, another major story right behind me. You're looking at actual picture. They can free up some travel lanes, but as you see, these emergency vehicles, have really taken over the roadway. You're getting by in just one far left travel lane at this point. So think about using alternates like Beach Street if you can, as you're commuting down the North Freeway. Get off a little bit early, use that until they can get these travel lanes back open. And I'll keep watching this. I'll let you know when things do start to get back open. We also have an issue out in Plano, I was mentioning before. So this all started as a fuel spill right along the southbound lanes of the Sam Rayburn Tollway. Now all of those lanes are shut down right at the Legacy exit. Plus, the tollway entrances, northbound and southbound from the Dallas North Tollway to the southbound Sam Rayburn Tollway, shut down as well. Talk some more about this, get a look at the rest of for you. You're going to need to use alternates. The service road could be an option for many of you exiting early. However, once you get closer to Parker, that's where things are going to slow down. So you might want to then use alternates like Parkwood, even Preston, to get around this one as you're headed deeper into Collin County. All right, out here in Fort Worth, we have a collision along I-30 eastbound right at Hewlin. This one's going to be delaying you as well, so leave a little bit early. You see all that activity off to the left shoulder. Yeah, it's a rough start happening, potentially even a crash, although TxDOT hasn't officially reported anything like that in this area. So leave early. Garland drivers, I'm calling out to you. The traffic just keeps stacking back. And also out in Irving, we've got a full-on closure of northbound Loop 12 right at High Corridor, so you're going to want to get a head start on your drive, leave early. And then down in Arlington, we've got this interesting mixture of closures. All right, we've got closures along eastbound I-20 right at Kelly Elliott, so traffic's being forced off onto the service road, but you also have closures going westbound on I-20 right around Bowen. These are causing some pretty big delays as people are making their way out of Fort Worth into Fort Worth, so think about using alternates. 303 could be helpful for those of you commuting, but we're going to keep watching this, let you know when things start to clear up, hopefully sooner than later. All right, Ron Kara, over to you.
All right. Is blocked off, and all this activity is causing slowdowns, pushing back to CF Han at this point. So really get a head start on your drive if you're making your way in this morning, heading off to work or something like that. If you're coming up from Grand Prairie, Arlington, 360, trying to connect to the airport freeway, no major crashes to report in that direction. More traffic building through the area, though. All of our tollways have been pretty quiet. That goes for the Bush, Dallas North tollways. You're coming down from places like Prosper, Frisco. 75 looking good, too. All right, Ron, Kara, over to you. Things are going to look like as you make your way out this morning. Expect some extra company on the roads. No major delays at this point, but as traffic starts to build in the area, people connecting to Fort Worth, this is definitely going to delay you, all right? So pick those alternate routes wisely. Don't forget out in Dallas, a crash along westbound 635 right at Skillman, but they're coming down from Collin County. Things are quiet right now. No major problems inbound from the tollway coming in from Frisco. Those of you driving down Central Expressway from for 35E, you could use Harry Hines to get around this. You'll still have access to the tollway. It's just going to be kind of slow until things completely wrap up in this area. And then those of you coming in from Rockwall County along westbound I-30, just over Lake Ray Hubbard, there's a drum of oil out in the roadway. It's maybe a truck lost part of its load, so crews are going out there to address that situation, get that off the roadway. Right now, traffic is still able to make its way past. Up next, we're going to talk about some construction that's slowing you down.
No matter what the forecast says, these meteorologists sure can make the temperature hotter. Odds are you'd never see them on your local weathercast. They just dress too provocatively for American television. But in a lot of foreign nations, the sexy weather girl is a genuine phenomenon, especially in Latin America. Mexico's Yvette Garcia is delivering the forecast in her super tight outfit. It's hard to focus on the information. She likes vivid colors and pink bows in her hair. And then there's this form-fitting number showing a little bit of tummy. Susana Almeida of Guadalajara, Mexico likes hot shorts.
Or lack thereof.
Other outfits may look great, but perhaps for another occasion.
I would wear that going out.
Del clima en Noticias 16 Charlotte.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? ¿Cómo están? Yo soy Gabriela Aguilar y este es el segmento del pronóstico del tiempo para hoy y el resto de la semana. Hoy tendremos una máxima de 97 grados y una mínima de 71. El día en su totalidad soleado, 0% de precipitación y los vientos van hacia el noroeste con 6 millas por hora. Para mañana la máxima será de 97 grados y la mínima de 72. El día en su mayoría soleado, 20% de precipitación y los vientos van hacia el suroeste con 7 millas por hora. Para el miércoles la máxima será de 98 grados y la mínima de 74. El día parcialmente nublado, 20% de precipitación y los vientos van hacia el suroeste con 7 millas por hora. Y para el jueves la máxima será de 94 grados y la mínima de 69. Lluvia por la tarde, 60% de precipitación y los vientos van hacia el noroeste con 8 millas por hora. De mi parte es todo, muchas gracias por acompañarnos, siga con nosotros y recuerde que este segmento es patrocinado por tu periódico Hola Noticias.
To Turn Up Tulsa, I'm Cynthia Tucker. Our top story. A local doula returns home from work to find her pet turtle playing inside of her husband's butthole. Did she join in on the fun and make it a freaky threesome, or did she call animal control? We've got the latest. But first, let's get a check of the weather with meteorologist Amanda Barnes.
Thank you, Cynthia. Well, Tulsa looks like we have more showers and storms in the forecast for today as a cold front makes its way across the state like a wide-tooth comb on wash day. The rain continues on Tuesday, so I'm not recommending a wash and go style just yet. You need to go wash and go bundle up with some Malaysian, Brazilian, Peruvian, kinky straight, kinky curly, doesn't matter. Anywhere from 5 to 8 packs should do it if you want to get on these IG levels of beauty. You know what I mean? By Wednesday, hump day, the winds are going to pick up and so will your lace front, so it's got to be secured. Things clear up on Thursday, but don't break out the flat iron just yet, or I foresee a ton of breakage. As we head into the weekend, the cold front will pass. Temperatures will soar into the 90s, so it'll be a great time to break out those protective styles. That's right, it's looking like box braids for brunch, ladies. For the rest of the weekend, I'm gonna recommend a leave-in conditioner, or better yet, not leave in your house. But not for my dreadlock ladies. All your locks will be fine all week as usual. Cynthia? Back to you,
She
Cynthia,
locked me in the closet. I'm the real Amanda Barnes.
Cynthia, back to you.
What the hell, Cynthia? Why'd you let her do this fake-ass weather forecast?
Because, Amanda, that's the best weather report we've ever had on this show. When I listen to your forecast, I look like I got my hair done by the Klan.
Wu-Tang has a salon? What? Who even are you anyway?
I'm the bitch whose hair got fucked up because of your fraudulent forecast. I was at my wedding and I got left at the altar because my agent said I don't.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tragic.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I see your ring. Real
Yeah,
cute.
not the event, your edges.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
You ever rub some monostat on it?
Why would I?
Anyway, do you know how long you have to go to school to become a meteorologist? And you out here letting her
8-10
put
days?
box braids on my weather wall?
Now do Darnell next. His sports ain't shit either.
Okay, let me be Darnell. The UCLA Bruins lost
What
a
the
game
fuck is
today.
going on? Where is security? Get these graphics off my weather wall. We're gonna have a talk about this, Tony.
Black women, call into the station. If your hair has been messed up by Amanda Barnes, call 1-800-FUCK Amanda Barnes.
Here from old Irv. What does that have to do with anybody else? Now, if we're talking about an intimate partner, so let's say I'm with a new man and he wants to know, like, you know, have you been with anybody that maybe I know? I'll tell him. That's a personal, intimate thing. I mean, you wouldn't want somebody, you know what I mean?
but that's what makes it so unique. Mention it. You can't spin the block again. You can't call her and say, hey, that's it.
And to me,
don't talk about
that's
it.
what I think it is.
It was transactional and it wasn't more.
Well, because
it's
it's
how it
important
was.
to know that. I mean,
Right.
she's never spoken about this.
Exactly.
And we have to remember, I mean, this was 20 years ago. So, I mean, do you feel that there's a statute of limitation when it comes to bringing up your past?
Yes.
Okay.
It's called.
Are saying that too.
And I have to agree because that's something to a guy that old, and that is kind of creepy to me now.
You make mistakes.
Yeah, and I feel like
Are you
it's
just doing
almost predatory. Like, are you trying to like coerce me?
But what goes on in an intermarriage, I mean, you know, you never know the workings. I mean, sometimes people have certain deals that are worked out that maybe somebody can go off and have extra partners, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that when I look about this, you know, situation with a young person who could be very impressionable, not taking away any liability that, you know, she may have in the situation, but it's like you're bringing this up and it's like you're almost holding it over my head, like I still have this. And it's a power play. And I think that's what's really manipulative about it.
It's very manipulative, and I want to add in about the marriage.
Talking about the clout chasing element of it, I mean, I feel like that there's a double standard here because if a woman goes on and brags about the men that she's been with, or even just talks about one at a public level, I mean, people might call you a slut. So, you know, let's talk about that side.
It's definitely a double standard, but I feel like it's sexist, and I agree. But the difference between us and men, we don't share names, and I think that's what makes it that slut shaming piece or that clout. But it doesn't matter. I still hit that. It's like a you know, a high school basketball star in his 40s still talking about it. You know what I mean?
This user here who you know has no chance of ever even getting with Ashanti. I think there are a lot of men here who fantasize about getting with these high status women, and they can't, so they have to say, oh, she's for the streets anyway. That's why I can't have her, you know? And I think that's that whole fox and the sour grapes, you know,
But if the tables were turned and a woman was out saying,
we usually have a little bit more time for other topics, but I guess Irv Gotti's dominating our comments today. So
walk onto that set, and you all know be in the right mental space to understand the work that I'm about to do, you know, into it, because
regardless, the talent is undeniable. So clearly on P-Valley, you play a very, I want to know about her. Like, how did he and Chuckalisa, how does your wife respond to things like this?
You know, the conception of Lil Murda and everything that he is now. In New York, we kicked it a few times. Be loved, be alike.
I'm so glad that you said that. And let's get back to your character, because we have to ask, as a fan, speaking on behalf of all fans, is there a Lil Murda in
your anxiety to help relax your mind? And so the Fonzie does just that. And styling on set, doing all that.
Our research, and we did learn that you had a past in music.
High school, which is notoriously known for its marching band, you know, high step and march.
And it was so great to have you in the Black Girl Stuff house.
Sure that I had a business that
It's so important because, I mean, you know, recent census data shows that almost half of Black women in the United States have never been married. I mean, what's your take on that?
Also, But you're not looking for compatibility. What makes these
Right,
yeah.
I love that. No, I think that's so important. But when you talk about compatibility specifically, can we, talk about that? Because I'm thinking, middle class.
Yeah.
But what if I'm a woman who's middle class, but I want a millionaire?
Well, most people do. But let's just be realistic. When you're at the 1%, you have the pick of the litter. You get to choose what you want, and those people tend to choose half.
You saying they're not gonna choose me?
I'm saying it's possible, but you might want to put your eggs in it. You don't want to ever get into a relationship thinking you're gonna change somebody's mind. Important to you.
Yeah.
Don't get into a relationship thinking you're gonna change. Don't change anybody. Whatever they are.
I can't do that.
I know. So some of them are like super picky.
So is it just superficial? I mean, are there other qualities that
They definitely influence them.
Well, let's get into the nitty gritty here, okay? Because
was not mentally stable. She showed up at his job at 3 a.m. Oh, wow. I need to know how you. Wow. I need to know that you are mentally.
Are we ready today?
Are they ready?
Need coaching first.
We might say it.
Okay, who said that? Deal? So, and I don't think that's a bad deal breaker. I just like, but you also didn't think you had anything to work on, and that is a red flag.
Did I say?
Yes.
No, I didn't. That's not me.
Having an addiction or having a bad relationship with their mom. I think
that was me too.
And the no ambition goes many ways. I feel like we hear no ambition and we say career, but it's also
I think there's anyone on here that would not be a candidate for my services. Honestly.
Hi everyone, welcome to our Shares channel. This is Alan Nelson and I'm gonna give you the American weather forecast today. We're starting off in New York and this week it is 51 degrees. So this is cool. If you're planning to go out, don't forget to carry a jacket and some warm up. So, and in the last days of the week, we are expecting some rain. So move with an umbrella, move with gloves and some things to wrap your neck. So it's gonna be cold. From New York, let's go straight to Miami, and this week it is 75 degrees. So this is hot, and we are not expecting any rain at this time. So this city is full of life. You can go out, you can try to visit some beach, you can go and have some fun because there is nothing that is gonna stop you. From Miami, let's go straight to Houston, Texas, and this is 56 degrees. So this week we are having a mixture of weather, and this is partly cloudy and sunny. So be careful, watch out. So sometimes move with an umbrella. Yes, we don't know really much, but we don't expect rain, but you have to be careful, just in case. Then from here, let's go straight to LA, and this is also 56 degrees. And this time around, we are having sunshine throughout the whole of this week. So don't worry about anything. Wear your sunscreen and be careful with your skin so that the sun doesn't hit it directly. From LA, let's go straight to Seattle, and this is 36 degrees. Oh my goodness, this is so cold. Don't forget to carry gloves, something to wrap around your neck. Don't forget to carry a jacket or anything. Don't forget to subscribe, hit a like and comment. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at AlenNelson5 and on Facebook, Alen Nelson. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Y ahora sí tenemos completa toda la información acerca del estado del tiempo para que vayan tomando sus previsiones, por lo cual los invitamos a que nos acompañen a ver nuestra imagen satelital, donde les iremos adelantando durante este día la onda tropical número 9 localizándose en el sureste del territorio mexicano en combinación con un canal de baja presión localizado en dicha región. Ambos fenómenos climatológicos en combinación estarán originando lluvias intensas para los amigos de Chiapas y Tabasco. Asimismo, se esperan lluvias fuertes aquí en Yucatán para que vayan tomando sus previsiones, esto durante las siguientes horas. Pero ¿qué les parece si con esta información nos acompañan a conocer las temperaturas que van a estar oscilando durante esta tarde en el norte del país, donde vemos en Durango 22 grados, donde se prevé durante esta tarde probabilidades de lluvias para ellos, Chihuahua con 32 grados, cielos parcialmente nubosos. Mientras tanto, amigos de Sinaloa, donde los termómetros llegan a incrementar hasta los 34 grados, amigos de Sonora, por otra parte, con temperaturas oscilando en los 41 grados, además de cielos totalmente soleados, muy buenos para llevar a cabo cualquier pendiente por realizar, pero eso sí, amigos de Sonora, a mantenerse muy bien hidratados. Por otra parte, Baja California Sur con 36 grados, cielos despejados. Baja California con 27 grados, se prevén lluvias durante esta tarde. Mientras tanto, estamos viendo para Coahuila 34 grados, cielos parcialmente nubosos. Amigos de Nuevo León, donde las temperaturas llegan a incrementar a los 35 grados, cielos parcialmente nublados. Tamaulipas con 38 grados y cielos totalmente soleados. Nos vamos hacia el centro y bajío del territorio mexicano, donde estaremos conociendo amigos de la Ciudad de México con 25 grados, mientras tanto Guanajuato con 26, cielos nubosos para ellos, en Michoacán con temperaturas que llegan a oscilar durante esta tarde hasta los 45 grados, además de cielos totalmente soleados, muy buenos para dejar a un lado los paraguas, pero eso sí, a sacar el protector solar durante esta tarde. Aguascalientes con 26 grados, cielos nubosos. Jalisco con 22, se prevén lluvias durante esta tarde para los amigos de Jalisco. Asimismo, en Nayarit se prevén lluvias y temperaturas oscilando en los 25 grados para ellos. Conozcamos que depara en Hidalgo 22 grados, cielos nublados. Tlaxcala con 24 grados, cielos parcialmente nubosos. Y para los amigos de Puebla, temperaturas que llegan a incrementar hasta los 24 grados, además de cielos parcialmente nublados. Y ahora sí, toca el turno de conocer qué es lo que depara en cuanto a las temperaturas durante este día en Yucatán, donde vemos mínimas que llegarán a descender hasta los 24 grados, llegarán a incrementar hasta los 34 grados, cielos parcialmente nubosos. Hasta estos momentos mínimas probabilidades en cuanto a las lluvias únicamente de un 20%, pero se prevé que durante las siguientes horas lleguen a incrementar hasta un 60% para que tomen sus previsiones, sobre todo si van a tomar el automóvil. Nos vamos a Campeche, donde estamos conociendo, amigos vecinos de Campeche, para ustedes mínimas de 24, máximas de 34 grados durante la tarde, cielos parcialmente nubosos y vemos que aumentan las probabilidades de lluvias de un 60 hasta un 70% durante esta tarde, así que a tomar sus previsiones. Para aquellos que nos ven y que nos siguen desde Quintana Roo, veamos mínimas de 24, máximas de 30 grados, cielos parcialmente nubosos y probabilidades de lluvias que van de un 30 hasta un 40% durante la tarde. Para aquellos que nos ven y que nos siguen desde la entidad tabasqueña, conozcamos en Tabasco mínimas de 24, máximas de 33 grados, cielos parcialmente nubosos. Hasta estos momentos mínimas probabilidades de lluvias únicamente de un 20%, pero se prevé que durante las siguientes horas lleguen a incrementar hasta un 80% para que vayan tomando sus previsiones, esto durante las siguientes horas. Finalmente, pero no menos importante, conozcamos que depara en Veracruz mínimas de 24, máximas de 31 grados, además de cielos totalmente soleados y nulas probabilidades en cuanto a las lluvias. Hasta aquí toda la información del clima. Se despide Bella Osorio y regreso contigo, Ernesto.
Radar can pick up more than just rainfall, and especially like a clear day like this. So it's able to easily pick up that smoke from that explosion, and that's seen by that green color and the yellow and the reds. That's not heavy rainfall. That's the thickness of that smoke, and that's just to the south of I-85. It's also traveling to the southern sections of Durham County as well. So if you have any issues with asthma or anything like that, just pay attention, especially if you live near Chapel Hill, southern sections of Orange County. That's the direction that that smoke is going due to our northwesterly flow, northeasterly winds pushing those temperatures down. So overall, if you do live in southern sections of Durham County and Orange County, just watch out for that. But radar was once again able to pick up that smoke shown by the green because those particles were so thick and we had clear conditions, and that smoke continues to travel off to the southwest throughout the remainder of the afternoon.
Black Girl Stuff. Welcome to Black Girl Stuff. We got a lot of ground to cover, and right now it's time to go in the comments. And up in the air for this discussion, the high cost of being a fly girl. Ooh. This is what's up. If you get flued out by a man, does that mean you're obligated to have sex with him? Let's see this one post that has everybody going off, y'all.
We went on dates, and I paid for the she don't owe you a thing. Spent $680 on a round trip flight. She gets to your house, you got one pillow and no shower gel. Who doing a half in this house?
Hello?
I never even mentioned having the sex with you, talking about why did you come here? Why did you bring her?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So, Tori, tell us what's taking up in these comments that got everybody, real heated.
One of these comments said, the math ain't mathin'. I don't care if you fly me to the moon. If I don't want to give you no kitty, you're not getting it.
Yeah, agree.
Okay. You're not getting it.
So let's get into it. If a man flies you out, are you necessarily agreeing to have sex with him?
What are we talking about right now? I mean, if you fly me out, you're trying to meet me and understand who I am. If things get a little adult-like, then they do. But you're not obligated to give up the nanny, right? On a flight.
That's exactly it. I feel like this is courting in general. If a man takes you to dinner in a movie, he's still gonna expect some sort of ass, and you don't have to do that. I feel like the same as with you being flued out, but I think you just have to put yourself in a position where you're not gonna be like dodging advances all night. We ain't trying to be looking all night.
So do you feel like it's something you're supposed to talk about before you go? Like, should you get on the phone and be like, hey, what we doing when we get there? Like,
so I feel like, one, a lot of relationships now do pop off in a DM. So we might never have hung out before. We've been talking on the phone, maybe texting, getting to know each other. So the fly out is probably our first time kicking it. And if it is, then like you said, I will definitely let a man know up front in the conversation, like, hey, I know this our first time kicking it. We not there in a relationship, or even if he live here in Atlanta and we've been dating, I'll let you know, look, just because we going here don't mean I'm obligated to get there. Now, if you really like me, you still gonna buy the ticket because you like me and want to spend time.
But what about this though? Because this is what happens to me, right? So I've been flued out before. Yeah. Somebody I was interested in meeting, right? And I told them beforehand, I said, I'm not promising you anything, all right? I'm just letting you know that. But here's what guys hear, okay? They're like, yeah, I'm gonna try when she get here though and see what I can get, right? And they press it, and then it's like you're almost like trying to be, pressure me into doing it. I'm like, bro, catch this, I'll leave right now.
Dimitri, to that point, I have to agree. Like, I think that every guy's still gonna try you. Like, they gonna feel like today might be my lucky day. You know what I mean? So he gonna still try you. But at the end of the day, I think in my experience, if you stand on what you said, they will respect you more because they like, oh, she said it and she meant it. She put her foot down.
Well, I feel like some guys do and some guys don't. But the thing is this: I feel like as long as you can afford to take yourself back home and don't be at the mercy of some dude you met on the internet. No, you know what I mean? Be smart about it so you don't get stranded at the airport.
That's good advice, but I'm saying, like, what is it about being flued out that brings up all these red bells to say I even need to talk about the fact that I'm not going to have sex with you? I feel like that's not a conversation you need to have.
No, you do.
No, you don't.
You got to think about it from a guy point of view. He's like, I'm paying for this good time. In his head, he's thinking, I want the ultimate experience. And if you want to give it to him, that's all fine and dandy. But you gotta let them know, hey, I feel like you should talk about it because some dudes
You don't have to talk about it. I feel like I really see it as a date. When we do a date, I'm not saying, hey, you took me to Red Lobster, that means you're gonna get these biscuits. It's really like, no, I mean, this was another situation where I'm meeting, we're not even gonna talk about it. I feel like, just have that little carrot, have it dangling. Don't tell him the surprise, the happy ending before you even start.
But I wanna ask you ladies the question, does the destination change whether you should do it or not?
Well, you don't have to be flying to his home, Bree. First of all,
different hotel
you
rooms.
can fly me to my personal hotel room get me my personal driving service. I mean, there are a lot of ways around this, but I think the most important thing is to first of all communicate. But when you get in that situation, passions get intense. But that's where sexual coercion can happen a little bit too. And there's some women who, have felt so uncomfortable and pressured that they do end up giving sex that they didn't really want to. And that's a real thing, especially among younger women.
How do you get to even the flued out part? Is it just because you said
I just
hello?
feel like this.
I mean, and the reason I'm asking before you answer is because I feel like, do you kind of have to be a little sexual anyway?
Are you trying to say I'm a freak? What are you saying? Like, girl,
you gonna say it depending on
what
the
are you talking about?
You gonna say it.
You don't have to be sexual to get flued out. Maybe you just want to see me. That's the only way that you can see me.
Okay, Demetria, but I think this person in the comments disagrees because they said, I'm gonna have to disagree, big dog. I guess you the big dog in this situation. Right. We all grown. If a dude is flying you out, we all know what's up. So
he sounds like that's broke behavior. You're just expecting something from a woman that you're not guaranteed to get. A woman can say no at any point in time. She can say yes before she leaves, see you, and see how you act, and then that's enough.
But at least if you say it up front, you can say, hey, I told you before I got here, I wasn't giving up nothing.
But if you want to give up the coochie, you can give it up. Do what you want to do.
Right, live your life. And we're going to be switching gears, okay? From expectations to healthy communication. Let's check out this scene from Issa Rae's latest series, Rap Shit, where characters Mia and Shauna's friendship is tested.
Breathe, please. For real? When you ask me to go to New York, I go. No questions asked. So when shit go down, you're supposed to have my back. I have your back. We are the worker band. It's people watching us. All you care about is work.
Woo! Okay, ladies, so let's get real about friend code, okay? Ride or die-ness and beef by association. If your best friend is beefing with someone, should you automatically be beefing with that person too?
Okay, so let me tell you, one of the comments said, if my BFF tells me that she doesn't like you, then that's it.
I feel like we're co-hosts, we're friends, but we're a group. So if we go to the club and we out and somebody run up on y'all, I'm running up too, because we came together, right?
They rolled up on us.
They rolled up on us at that point. We rolled
They tried
together, so they tried us. But I do think that there are limits to things. Like in real life, I might not automatically adopt your beef, even though you my friend. Because what if you crazy Keisha that always say something crazy?
But I feel like if it's your friend, most of the times you're friends with people you have similar core values with. So whatever you probably mad at, I'm gonna be mad at too. So yes, now if it affects our money, I'm gonna talk with you and try to talk you out of it. But if you rolling down, I'm definitely riding with you.
I mean, it doesn't, I think in things in general, it doesn't have to happen to you personally. So we saying friends, but I feel like this is just life messaging. Like something doesn't have to happen to you personally for you to feel affected by it, for you to be like, nah, I got this message, this girl ain't the one to be friends with. So beef, if you beefing with my friend, especially my best friend, you beefing with me because like you said, we have the same sort of vibe. Like we are one.
Well, here's an example of me. Like, I was working, at a TV station, and I had a friend who liked to be friends with everybody, right? And it was kind of rough because there were people who didn't, care for me. I felt maybe even be trying to sabotage me a little bit like this, and they would confide in her. And this is my friend, I'm thinking. So you've got these people who don't like me trusting you enough, my friend, to talk about me. And sometimes she wouldn't tell me everything. So I'm like, how could you possibly be my friend and the friend of these, I don't want to say enemies because it ain't that deep, but it's just like these people who don't, value me, care about me in any way. And so that's what brought our friendship, to the forefront. I mean, come on, you're not looking out for my best interest, right?
I agree with that. It's showing your true colors. I feel like, you don't have to all out block someone because they're not friends with you or because they have beef with your friend. But if you go out of your way to form a deeper relationship with someone that you have problems with, I'm like, nah, you're blocked.
I think that's key. I think it's the level of the relationship. So y'all know I'm super friendly. I'm bubbly. I'm gonna be nice and speak and cordial to everybody. Now, even if you beef with somebody and you're my best friend, I might not necessarily be beefed out with that person, but I will set boundaries.
Speaking of that, let's go into the comments again. Where this user commented saying it depends on the terms of which they don't like the person, and this is what we were getting at. Sometimes people will have a petty-ass reason for not liking someone. Why ruin connections and possible networking for BS? And so really it comes down to, are you more loyal to your friends or are you more loyal to the bag?
So I'm never gonna ask my friends to be more loyal to me than the money. I feel like I've actually been in a situation like that where my homegirl has a successful meal prep company and one of her clients who's really big and known actually stole intellectual property from me.
Oh.
She came to me as a friend first and was like, hey, how do you feel about me using this person as my client? I said, get your bag, sis. I don't care, because it's at the end of the day, it's business, and I would never want anybody, I would never block anybody else's blessings when it came to the money either. And you gotta know your friends.
We're talking about the beef, but not the resolution. I feel like a lot of people, when they have friends and they have beef with their friends, they're ready to tell you all the gossip when they're in it. But I had a situation where I had a friend and they were beefing, so we were both beefing, and then they never told me when they made up. And so I'm the one now on the outskirts.
I'm a traditional Aries in this sense, and either you riding with me or you dying and you're dead to me. That's how I feel.
Okay.
So the thing is this, I've been in that situation where my friend had multiple friends, but I'm like, girl, you better choose up. Like, what are we talking about right now? Like, you know what I mean? And I don't have tolerance for it. You can do whatever you want to do, but trust me, the day that you choose somebody else over me, and I'm not talking about a dude, because we got to get to that, but I'm talking about, you know, another woman or whatever, and you want to play that up, then go and leave, because I don't need you. Like,
we're all in the same scenario. We're all in the same
I wouldn't consider that beef, though.
No.
Yeah, it's not beef.
I don't care. That's an argument. That's an argument. I mean, right. Akila, Dimitri, if you do something to Akila, or Akila does something to you, I'm not obligated to pick sides just because I was on the auditions with you first, beforehand. You get what I'm saying? I get to choose to stay neutral.
But that's your choice, as it is Demetrius' choice, and it could be my choice to cut you off because you didn't. I'm sorry, Akila, you didn't choose up. I'm sorry.
Ain't never up.
We could go all day long about sisterhood.
Hello and good afternoon to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. It is that time of the afternoon where we give you an update on what's happening in the tropics. Guess what? It's still the first few weeks of hurricane season. We're usually pretty quiet this time of hurricane season, but I do have a new system to talk to you about. We have some developments. All is still quiet for the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean. We've got a little bit of convection in a few spots, but nothing that's being monitored for tropical activity. But let's swing over to the far east Atlantic, and boom, there you go. We have a new tropical wave. This is right along the west coast of Africa, and it is forecast to push west-northwest as we go through the next several days. It's not that organized right now, and the National Hurricane Center only gives this a 0% chance for development for the next 48 hours, but they do give it a 20% chance for development over the next 7 days. So conditions are not favorable for development over the next few days, but as this starts to push away from the western coast of Africa and gets closer to the central Atlantic, conditions will be a little bit more favorable. It's just gradually going to make its trek to the west-northwest over the next several days, and we'll have to wait and see what happens as it tries to get closer to portions of the eastern Caribbean and western Atlantic to see if the U.S. would be impacted. But we've got several days to monitor this system. At this point, it is not something that we are super concerned about because we have to wait and see if it makes it across the Atlantic, and then we'll have to wait and see where it heads after that. But it is something to watch. It is our first tropical wave that we've had this week so far out in the Atlantic. Also still monitoring an area of showers and thunderstorms, a disturbance here. This is in the eastern Pacific. You'll see this is south of Acapulco, and this is also moving to the west-northwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now this system does have a 20% shot for development over the next 48 hours and a 20% chance that it could become a tropical cyclone over the next 7 days or so. The good news with this one, it's moving west-northwest away from Mexico and Central America, away from the U.S., so I don't expect it to have much of an impact on land at this point, since it's pushing away from us. So we'll continue to monitor it, but I don't think it's going to have any major impact. Closer look at the Gulf of Mexico shows we've got some big time convection, some strong to severe storms impacting portions of the southeast, but nothing of a tropical nature that we're monitoring. You can see those wind speeds with the buoys there around 20 to 25 miles per hour, but overall we're not really monitoring anything that could possibly develop into a tropical depression, tropical storm, or a hurricane. Also down into the Caribbean, in the western Caribbean, we've got quite a few showers and storms here. This is going to be right around Panama, but this is not being monitored for tropical development, so that is good news. And basically much of the Caribbean pretty quiet. The waters, though, are very warm out there. Warmer than average waters in the Atlantic, water temps in the Gulf in the low to middle 80s. We continue to see these temps go up. Water temps in the Caribbean, middle to upper 80s. So if we were to get something to develop, we definitely have water warm enough to support those systems getting stronger, but we just don't have anything that we're monitoring for tropical development in the Gulf or in the Caribbean at this point. We've got that one tropical wave coming off of the west coast of Africa, but we are still expecting a fairly busy hurricane season. Those numbers will likely end up being close to average, but still an average season would be 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. The CSU forecast calls for 15 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. And then, of course, we had the NOAA forecast come out. And of course, they give more of a range, 12 to 17 named storms, 5 to 9 hurricanes, and 1 to 4 major hurricanes. So we still could have quite a few named storms as we go through the season. We've only had 1 named storm so far. Of course, that was Arlene, and it didn't stick around for long. It developed in the Gulf. It briefly became a tropical storm and then quickly fell apart as it moved closer to Cuba. But if we do get more action, the next name would be Brett. That tropical wave coming off the west coast of Africa, if it hangs on and gets a little stronger and becomes a tropical cyclone, it would be named Brett. Then we would go to Cindy. So we've got a long way to go. Of course, we're still just in the first few weeks of hurricane season. Hurricane season extends all the way through the end of November. And typically this time of hurricane season, we don't have a ton of action. But of course, as we get towards August and September, those tropical cyclones usually start to pop up a lot more frequently. So of course, even though things are quiet now, you need to do what you can to be prepared for a tropical storm or hurricane headed towards the Houston area. Here's some of the things that you can do. Assemble your disaster kit, your disaster supplies. Make sure you have plenty of food and water, non-perishable of course, medicine and prescriptions, and also make sure to keep your gas tank full if a storm is on the way. Keep cash on hand and make sure you have a radio, batteries, and phone chargers when we get into these emergency weather situations such as a tropical storm or hurricane. Of course, another thing you want to do, make sure to download our Fox 26 weather app. Of course, you can get all of your tropical weather updates, forecast cones, our Follow Me feature, and of course, if we do get any tropical storm or hurricane watches or warnings, you can check that out as well, as long as you have the alerts feature turned on. So the one important thing to note is that we do have a tropical wave we are monitoring well out in the eastern Atlantic. It's far away from the U.S. We've got several days to watch it, but at this point, nothing imminent for the Houston area. Thank goodness we've got enough to deal with, like the major heat wave that we're right in the middle of. So enjoy the rest of your day. That's the latest for your tropical update. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade.
Hey Tallahassee, this is student meteorologist Colleen Peterson with your Hurricane Hermine special update on this Thursday evening. Now, as we've seen in Tallahassee, it hasn't been that bad out, but don't worry, that bands are coming up into Tallahassee around this counterclockward flow all the way from Tampa, and Tampa has been getting hit all day with parts of the whole coast being flooded with those storm surges are very high. And going into the local radar, we see spotted showers all over Tallahassee, Monticello, and Perry. They're just getting, the rain is just begun, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to get into a very, very heavy storm because the wind, the miles per hour on this hurricane currently is 75 miles per hour. Now that is a Category 1 hurricane, a Category 1 hurricane. So make sure that you're prepared, stock up on whatever you need to stock up on, water, you know. And then the tornado watch is all over the northeast part of Florida, as that can be a little scary out there, so make sure that you're indoors. And then the flooding all the way down from Mexico Beach to Swanee River, that storm watch can go up to 6 to 9 feet. So I don't advise to go shred the gnar out there today because that's very huge. You'd be a professional to do that. But as we go into the watches and warning, there's a hurricane warning all over Tallahassee, the Big Bend region, but there is a hurricane watch over to the west. So make sure that those wind miles might damage you, so be careful out there. And the current wind gust is 21 in Tallahassee. Around 3 o'clock, it was 9 miles per hour. Now it's 21, and now that is going to increase, maybe even spike up to the 50s, 60 miles per hour, 74 as we're seeing the Hurricane 1. But as the hurricane does hit the Big Bend region, it will dissipate a little, but regain the strength once it gets into the Atlantic and affects the New Jersey area. Now it's 14 miles per hour as that counterclockward flow of this hurricane low pressure cell. But as we go into the current storm surge, 6 to 9 feet, like I said, all the way down from the Springs to Apalachicola. So make sure if the the roads are already getting flooded, as we see on the news. So make sure to stay inside, and if you're driving, I wouldn't advise it because probably nobody's going to come save you with this bad weather. So as we go into the forecast cone, the red indicates a hurricane warning, but the pink is a hurricane watch, and the tropical advisories all over the East Coast. There's 24 million people under some sort of tropical storm watch, warning, whatever it is, going all the way from North Carolina. But as we hit Virginia and the Maryland area, that is a hurricane watch. I mean, not a hurricane watch, tropical storm watch, as it will regain strength as it gets out into the Atlantic, and those warm waters does increase the hurricane's intensity. Now, as we go into what is a Category 1 hurricane, well, here it is, 74 to 95 miles an hour. That is Category 1. It was a tropical storm until around 3 o'clock today. It did turn into a Category 1. So, and if you're wondering, a tropical storm is 39 miles an hour to 74. So that is very high winds, and right now it's sustained at 75 miles an hour every 60 seconds. That is the average. So that is dangerously rough winds. So just a key point, rains will increase intensity. The roads will get flooded. Be careful, make sure to stock up because the power outage might come around. But the worst we're seeing, the landfall of the big cell is 1 a.m. And as those around the eye wall is the strongest part, those bins are going to come up and hit Telly directly. So make sure you stay inside with all your friends. So make sure everyone stays safe. Make a hurricane party out of it. Not widespread wind, water damage possible. So this has been Colleen Peterson, student meteorologist here at FSU for FSU Weather.
Muy buenas tardes, estoy de regreso con toda la información del pronóstico del tiempo. Al momento se registran 32 grados en el centro de Monterrey. El viento corre del sureste a 8 kilómetros por hora. La humedad relativa se ubica en el 53% y la presión atmosférica en los 1008 milibares. El día de hoy, vaya que se va a sentir el calor, señora. Otro día más de calor, ya que la máxima llegará hasta los 36 grados centígrados. El cielo completamente libre de nubes y en estos próximos días de la semana, si usted no ha organizado su fin de semana, es momento que empiece a organizarlo. Viernes, el cielo con muy escasas nubes, temperatura mínima de 23, la máxima llegará a los 34 grados centígrados. Sábado, nublados variables, la máxima se elevará a los 33 grados. Para el domingo, un poco menos de calor, la mínima de 22, la máxima llegará a los 32 grados centígrados. Las mismas condiciones se mantienen para este lunes de la próxima semana. El martes, el cielo con muy escasas nubes, alcanzando una temperatura máxima de 35 grados centígrados. Ahora les presento la imagen de satélite donde podemos observar este canal de baja presión que se ubica en la península de Yucatán, el cual mantiene la entrada de humedad muy densa y de lluvias muy fuertes para los estados del sureste del territorio nacional. Sobre el norte de la República se mantiene el cielo completamente despejado y por lo cual se esperan temperaturas muy elevadas para estos próximos días de la semana. Ahora podemos observar la tormenta tropical Andrea, el cual se localiza al noreste del Golfo de México. Este lleva su recorrido hacia la costa oeste de Florida, lo cual en su amplia circulación llevará nubosidad muy densa y lluvias muy fuertes. Toda la información se las vamos a tener aquí en las noticias. Vamos a ver cómo están las temperaturas en el territorio nacional y Texas. Podemos ver Dallas, nublados variables acompañando tormenta eléctrica. La máxima llegará a los 31. McAllen, el cielo completamente despejado. Vaya que la temperatura máxima se sentirá mucho calor, ya que llegará hasta los 38 grados. Para Saltillo y Veracruz, el cielo completamente despejado. Máximas de 33. Cancún, nublados variables acompañando tormenta eléctrica. Temperatura mínima de 24 y la máxima llegará a los 30 grados centígrados. Ahora podemos observar que para Acapulco también se espera tormenta eléctrica, mínima de 24 y la máxima llegará a los 33. Guadalajara alcanzando los 36 grados centígrados y Tijuana, el cielo mayormente nublado acompañado de unas ligeras precipitaciones. La máxima llegará a los 23 grados centígrados. Para Hermosillo se espera otro día de calor, ya que la máxima se elevará hasta los 44 grados centígrados. Mazatlán, temperatura mínima de 23, la máxima llegará a los 31. El cielo completamente despejado. Distrito Federal, el cielo con muy escasas nubes, temperatura mínima de 13 y la máxima será de 31. Oaxaca alcanzando los 30 grados centígrados. El día de hoy completaremos un total de luz, 13 horas con 38 minutos. La fase lunar actual, un cuarto menguante que dará cambio a luna nueva este próximo 8 de junio a las 10 horas con 56 minutos. Si usted está comiendo, deseo que tenga muy buen provecho y continúe bien informado y bien sintonizado aquí en las noticias.
¿Cómo vamos, Ciudad de México, este domingo? ¿Ya desayunaron? ¿Ya están disfrutando ese café? Y también muy atentos a la información del pronóstico del tiempo, ya que vemos las precipitaciones siguen siendo el protagonista y esto a nivel del país. Lo vemos a lo largo de la Sierra Madre Occidental.
occidental, también en puntos del noroeste. Esto lo dejó la tormenta tropical Javier, que ya se disipó. También en puntos del sur y el occidente vemos esas precipitaciones. Se van a favorecer también por este disturbio tropical que tenemos en el sur de la República Mexicana. Se esperan las siguientes olas. Recuerden todos los detalles. Tenemos que se convierta en alguna depresión tropical, una tormenta tropical también. Así que recuerden, aquí le tenemos esto. Vemos también en el noreste, seguimos con estas precipitaciones, los chubascos por un frente estacionario. Pero vamos a ver Ciudad de México. ¿Qué tenemos en esta jornada de domingo? Queremos disfrutar, pero también estar preparados si tienen esos planes. Pues arrancamos la jornada con 14 grados. Tenemos ese 20% de probabilidad de lluvia que por la tarde va aumentando. Esto en un 70%. Vemos también la máxima durante la tarde de 23 grados y por la noche 18 grados. También acompañada de un 60% de probabilidad de lluvia. Las tormentas se mantienen también de manera ocasional, pero eso sí, se hacen presentes. Así que ya saben, hay que estar al pendiente. El día de mañana, iniciando la semana con todo también, vemos una mínima de 14 grados durante toda la semana. Las máximas se mantienen desde 23 a 24 grados. Lunes, 50% la probabilidad de lluvia, pero vemos también que va aumentando hasta un 70% durante los siguientes días. Así que no hay que bajar la guardia, hay que conducir con muchísimo cuidado en esta semana. Vemos en el Estado de México en este día domingo también tenemos máximas de 21 grados, Ecatepec, Texcoco, Nezahualcóyotl 20 la máxima, también máximas de 19 grados en otros puntos. Así que ya saben, hay que estar atentos a los detalles. Mientras tanto, nos vamos a otros puntos de la República Mexicana, donde vemos en Toluca la mínima es de 12, la máxima llega a los 19 grados. Este domingo el 80% de probabilidad de lluvia se hace presente, no solamente durante esta jornada, sino en los siguientes días, desde un 60 a un 70% la probabilidad de lluvia. Así que ese paraguas en mano no está de más. Vámonos también a otros puntos donde vemos en este domingo Puebla la tendencia a esas precipitaciones máximas de 24 grados, también para Cuernavaca, Morelia, Querétaro la máxima va a los 23 grados. Recuerden también tener precaución con esas inundaciones repentinas que pueden suceder durante esta jornada y en las siguientes, ya que vemos las lluvias no terminan. Y esta historia también para Guadalajara la tenemos con una mínima de 16 grados, la máxima va a los 27, la probabilidad de lluvia va en un 60% durante este domingo para disfrutar. Ya saben, esos planes que tengan el día de hoy, hay que contemplar estas condiciones meteorológicas. Nos vamos a los días lunes y martes, donde vemos la historia se repite con un 50% de probabilidad de lluvia presente, así que hay que contemplarlo también. Esto para Puebla, 14 con 22 grados. El domingo vamos hasta un 70% de la probabilidad de lluvia, así que sin lugar a duda hay que estar preparados también. Ropa cómoda, conducir con cuidado. Recuerden esto, 50% de probabilidad de lluvia. Martes también aumentando hasta un 60%. Y en cuanto a la fase lunar, actualmente estamos en una luna creciente y vemos esto cambió el día de ayer y nuevamente esto cambia. Le damos la bienvenida a una luna llena a partir del día sábado 10 de septiembre, precisamente a las 4 de la mañana con 59 minutos. Con esto nos despedimos en el pronóstico del tiempo. Que sigan teniendo excelente mañana. Un gusto estar con ustedes y vemos más información más adelante.
Hello everyone, welcome to Kinganda. This is Alan Nelson presenting to you the weather forecast for Africa today, and I'm your weather girl. Let's start off from Kampala. The weather in Kampala this week is going to be shiny sometimes it's going to be rainy, and sometimes it's going to be cloudy. So if you're planning to move out, or if you have other plans of going out, don't forget to carry a jacket or an umbrella, or sometimes you even need the sunscreen because it's gonna be shiny sometimes. I'm taking you to Nairobi, Kenya. The weather for Nairobi this week, if you're planning to have a vacation in Kenya or in Nairobi, or if you live there, don't forget to carry an umbrella or a jacket for the first 3 days because it's gonna be really rainy, and for the remaining days, don't worry about anything. You are free, in fact, to do anything you feel like. You can even visit the swimming pool because it's gonna be really, really sunny. From East Africa, let's go straight to West Africa, and we're starting off from Ghana, Accra. And this week, the weather for Accra is gonna be sunny the whole week. We don't have any chances of having rain this week. So don't worry about carrying umbrellas and jackets now. You don't need them this week. You're free to do anything if you like. Still in West Africa, let's check on the neighbors of Ghana, and that's it. Nigeria, Lagos. So the weather for Lagos this week, still like Ghana, we don't have any chances of having rain. So you're free to do anything, like, yeah, have fun, go out. It's gonna be sunny, yeah. Oh yes, from West Africa straight to South Africa. And in South Africa, let's start off from Cape Town. In Cape Town, yes, it is really hot. We are going to be having sunshine throughout the week. Still in South Africa, we are in Johannesburg right now. And guess what? This week we're going to have a mixture of weather, and sometimes it's going to be sunny, sometimes it's going to be cloudy, and sometimes it's going to rain. So be careful. You have to move with your jacket sometimes and an umbrella. Yes, you have to be careful. Thanks for watching Kinganda Weather Forecast. If it's your first time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Allen Nelson 5 Instagram and on Facebook, Allen Nelson 5. Thank you.
Still holding on to just a lot of cloud cover. All of these clouds are from Lee. So Lee is now a post-tropical cyclone. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's any weaker, just the definition has changed. It's down to 60 degrees in Central Park. Across northwest New Jersey, the upper 40s, also the low 50s. Patcong, 48 degrees, the same in Franklin. Teaneck, you're around 57, and Elizabeth, 61. Good morning in Bridgeport, 60 degrees and 54 in Belmar. It is breezy, especially down the shore, also across Long Island. We have this breeze now out of the northwest, wrapping around Lee up to 8 to 15 miles per hour. And it will stay blustery at times. We could have gusts up to 25 to 30 miles per hour. The highest gusts, those will peak across the east end. Those numbers will approach 35 to 40 in some spots. So later tonight, winds finally start to calm down. And tomorrow morning, just a really quiet start. But still along the coastline, dangerous conditions. We have winds out of the northwest between 15 to 30 miles per hour. Those are sustained winds. Waves peaking up to 8 to 16 feet. Ocean temperatures in the 70s and a high risk for rip currents. On satellite and radar, this is how it's playing out. Most of this cloud cover covering the majority of the tri-state area except for Ocean County, and the brunt of the rainfall still off to the north and to the east. We were thinking earlier that there was a chance that some of that rain could try to push into the east end, but things are dry for now. Those showers now impacting a big chunk of Maine. We are still in the middle of hurricane season, around the peak actually, and we now have Tropical Depression 15 that formed yesterday in the middle of the Atlantic, and that will soon become a tropical storm, eventually intensifying to a hurricane Monday into Tuesday. But this will likely not impact land as it will stay east of Bermuda.
Llegamos ya a la recta final de noticiero, ya estamos a los últimos minutos de que finalice la última sección del pronóstico del tiempo. Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros y por preferirnos. Llegó el momento de ver qué es lo que nos espera en el estado de Guanajuato, en el corredor industrial. Las temperaturas máximas y mínimas para el día de hoy, miércoles, ombligo de semana, y también el día jueves y el día viernes, cómo vamos a cerrar la semana en nuestro bonito estado de Guanajuato. Las condiciones actuales son cálidas, temperaturas que estarán rondando los 30 grados Celsius en la mayoría de los municipios del estado. Como podemos ver en el caso de Dolores Hidalgo y San Miguel de Allende, las máximas serán de 31 grados Celsius, condiciones de cielos completamente despejados, pero con alta probabilidad de lluvia para el día de hoy durante la tarde-noche. No se asuste, la lluvia es ligera, la que se espera si se llegara a presentar en esta región. Moroleón y Acámbaro, las máximas estarán oscilando entre los 29 y los 30 grados Celsius, las mínimas serán de 14 grados Celsius. Durante la madrugada, la mínima se espera que se dé a partir de las 5 o 6 de la mañana. En nuestro bonito León, Guanajuato, Guanajuato una máxima que estaremos alcanzando de 33 grados Celsius el día de hoy, mínimas de 12 con cielos parcialmente nublados. Para el día jueves tenemos incremento también en el porcentaje de la nubosidad con máximas de 31, mínimas de 16. Cerramos la semana con temperaturas máximas de 32, mínimas de 12 grados Celsius. En el caso de Irapuato, las máximas de 34, mínimas de 14, cielos parcialmente nublados. El día jueves 32, descienden ligeramente las temperaturas y para el día viernes las temperaturas máximas serán de 33 con mínimas de 16 grados Celsius. Para Salamanca, mínimas que van en aumento de los 14 a los 17 y ya para el día viernes descienden ligeramente a los 16 grados Celsius. En cuanto a las máximas, descienden ligeramente de los 34 a los 31 el día jueves y el día viernes las temperaturas máximas estarán llegando a los 33 con condiciones de cielos parcialmente nublados a lo largo de los próximos días y el día de hoy también. Para Guanajuato capital, 31 la máxima con mínimas de 13 grados Celsius. Para Celaya, las temperaturas serán cálidas de 33 grados Celsius con mínimas de 14, cielos parcialmente nublados. El día jueves máximas de 32, mínimas de 17 y cerramos la semana con temperaturas cálidas de 32 grados Celsius con mínimas de 16 grados Celsius. El día de hoy se pudo disfrutar el amanecer a partir de las 7:08 de la mañana y el atardecer se estará dando a las 8:23 de la noche. Así que bueno, ya conoce las condiciones del pronóstico del tiempo y como ustedes saben, a mí me encanta mostrarles imágenes postales que son verdaderamente hermosas. Vean nada más estas imágenes. Este halo solar de dispersión múltiple lo pudieron ver en Seattle el día de ayer. Qué espectáculo tan maravilloso pudieron disfrutar algunas personas. Y bueno, vean nada más las imágenes. Yo creo que yo hubiera aprovechado también a tomarme 1000 fotos, así como las personas que estuvieron posteándolo el día de ayer. Espero que a ustedes también les haya gustado estas imágenes. Llegó el momento, lamentablemente, de despedirme y ya llegamos a la recta final del noticiero. Recuerde siempre, no se le olvide que al mal tiempo, una sonrisa. Vámonos a un corte comercial. Yo los veo el día de mañana con toda la información del pronóstico del tiempo.
Muy buenos días, me encanta saludarte con toda la información del tiempo. ¿Cómo iniciamos la semana? Vemos en la imagen de satélite que tenemos una amplia zona de inestabilidad en el Golfo de México. Presenta potencial de desarrollo ciclónico, así que es necesario vigilarlo y estar atentos ante las indicaciones que emita Protección Civil. Por lo pronto ingresa humedad a los estados del noreste, oriente y sur del país, generando lluvias, además de alto oleaje en las costas del litoral del Golfo. Por otra parte, tenemos humedad que ingresa desde el Pacífico. Esto estará generando también algunas lluvias en el occidente, centro y sur. Las temperaturas calurosas, pero por la mañana un poco frescas. ¿Qué tenemos aquí en el estado? Vemos Guanajuato, San Miguel de Allende y Celaya, temperaturas máximas de 23 a 25 con un cielo un poco nublado, temperaturas mínimas de 13 y 14, Irapuato 25 y aquí en la ciudad continuando el cielo con nubosidad parcial, temperaturas máximas entre los 25 y 26 con pronóstico de lluvia dentro de los próximos días, puede ser de ligera a moderada y vemos las mañanas de 12 y 14, las máximas de 26 y 27. Recuerda, a pesar de tener un cielo parcialmente nublado, es necesario uses un buen bloqueador solar. Hay más información, continúa con nosotros y que tengas un excelente día.
مرحبا. مع نهاية فصل الصيف وبداية الخريف بتبدأ درجات الحرارة بالانخفاض مع تساقط بعض الأمطار بالمناطق الجبلية وبتتساوى ساعات الليل مع ساعات النهار وبيستمر فصل الخريف 89 يوم بعده بيبدأ فصل الشتاء ب 21 كانون الأول. بالعودة لطقسنا صيفي مستقر عم بيسيطر على لبنان والحوض الشرقي للبحر الأبيض المتوسط. الحرارة مرتفعة على الساحل خلال النهار ومعتدلة ليلا وباردة على الجبال خلال الليل. رطوبة عادية، البحر متوسط الموج وحرارة مياه 28 درجة. اليوم طقسنا غائم جزئيا مع استقرار بدرجات الحرارة وتكون ضباب على المرتفعات القريبة للساحل. نسبة تساقط الأمطار بطرابلس من أيلول حتى اليوم 695 ملم. السنة الماضية 619 والمعدل العام السنوي 825. نبقى بجولة على درجات الحرارة اللي رح تسجل الليلة على الساحل 26، على المرتفعات 22، بالبقعة 12 والأرز 9. نبقى بجولة ثانية على درجات الحرارة اللي رح تسجل اليوم ببعض المناطق اللبنانية، زغرين 31 وجبل محسن 31، حتشيت 21 درجة، القاع 30، فقرة 22، بعبدة 31، المختارة 27 درجة، وعين عطا 29. الرطوبة بتتراوح بين 60 و 80%، حرارة سطح المي 28 درجة، وسرعة الرياح بتتراوح بين 10 و 30 كم بالساعة. الرياح عم بتكون جنوبية غربية. كيف رح يكون طقسنا اليوم واليومين يلي جايين؟ نهار الاثنين والثلاثة بتتراوح بين 26 و 31، والأربعاء بين 25 و 30 درجة. بنبقى هلا بجولة على درجات الحرارة ببعض العواصم العربية والعالمية. أبو ظبي بين 30 و 41 درجة، الرباط بين 19 و 32، وبرلين بين 9 و 14 درجة. وهون بنكون وصلنا لنهاية نشرتنا الجوية. مرحبا. ما في أحسن من مية البحر المالحة اللي بتشفي العديد من الأمراض. بس شي مرة تسألنا ليش مية البحر طبيعي متقلب عم بيسيطر على لبنان والحوض الشرقي للبحر الأبيض المتوسط، مع انخفاض ملحوظ بدرجات الحرارة وتكون ضباب كثيف على المرتفعات عم بيؤدي لسوء رؤية وتساقط أمطار متفرقة بالمناطق الجبلية خاصة الجنوبية والبقعية، وهبوب رياح ناشطة ممكن توصل ل 70 كم بالساعة. الرطوبة عادية، البحر مرتفع الموج، وحرارة سطح المي 19 درجة. بيتحسن الطقس تدريجيا بنهاية الأسبوع. نسبة تساقط ببعض المناطق اللبنانية مثل بينو 20 والمينا 23 درجة، 11 بإهدن وكفيفان 20 درجة مع تساقط أمطار بكافة المناطق، 11 بكفر دبيان، عين سعادة 18، 23 درجة برياض الصلح، دير القمر 17 وكفر رمان 20 درجة. الرطوبة بتتراوح بين 65 و 80%، حرارة سطح المي 19 درجة، وسرعة الرياح بتتراوح بين 15 و 35 كم بالساعة. الرياح عم بتكون جنوبية شرقية لجنوبية غربية. كيف رح يكون طقسنا بهاليومين؟ بنشوفه سوا. نهار السبت بتتراوح بين 16 و 23 درجة مع تساقط أمطار، الأحد بين 16 و 23، اثنين بين 17 و 24 درجة. بنبقى هلا بجولة على درجات الحرارة ببعض العواصم العربية والعالمية، وبنبدأ جولتنا بالكويت بين 21 و 35 درجة، القدس بين 11 و 26، تونس بين 18 و 27، وبننهي الجولة بروما بين 13 و 26 درجة. وهون بنكون وصلنا لنهاية نشرتنا.
현재 트로 태풍 카누는 시속 40km의 속도로 빠르게 북동진하고 있습니다. 아침에 태안반도 부근을 지나 수도권에 상륙할 것으로 보이는데요. 지금 보시는 것처럼 전국 대부분 지방에서 굵은 비가 내리고 있는 가운데 현재 충남과 전북 지방으로 시간당 30mm의 강한 비가 쏟아지고 있고요. 그 밖에 중국 지방으로도 태풍의 전면에서 만들어진 비구름대의 영향으로 굵은 비가 쏟아지고 있습니다. 태풍의 중심이 계속 북상하면서 오늘 오전 9시쯤에는 태안반도 부근을 지나서 오후에는 수도권에 상륙하겠습니다. 그 이후에는 동해 쪽으로 물러날 것으로 예상됩니다. 따라서 제주도와 남부지방은 오늘 낮까지, 중부지방은 오늘 오후까지 집중호우가 쏟아지겠습니다. 앞으로 서울, 경기와 강원, 영서지방으로는 40에서 100mm가량의 많은 비가 쏟아지겠고요. 충청과 영동 북부, 영남지방으로는 20에서 60mm, 그 밖의 지역으로도 5에서 30mm가량의 비가 예상됩니다. 이에 따라 태풍특보는 오늘 새벽에 서울을 비롯한 중부지방까지 확대됐습니다. 현재 호남 일부에 이어서 서울, 경기와 강원, 영서지방에는 태풍주의보가 새로 내려졌고요. 남해 서부 먼바다와 제주 전해상에도 풍랑특보가 내려졌습니다. 따라서 전국 대부분 지방이 태풍의 영향권 안에서 강한 비바람이 휘몰아칠 것으로 예상이 되고요. 또 해안가에서도 높은 파도로 인해 해일 현상이 일 것으로 보이니까요. 앞으로 발표되는 기상 정보를 적극 참고하시기 바랍니다. 날씨 정보였습니다.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Weather Forecast Africa. This is Ali Nelson, your weather girl. Thanks for loving Kinganda. Let's start off with Kigali, and this is the capital city of Rwanda. This city is the most beautiful city and the most organized city in Africa. So unfortunately, this time the weather isn't that good. It's gonna be rainy and cloudy sometimes. So if you're planning to go out or if you're planning to have a vacation in Rwanda, don't forget to carry a jacket or an umbrella wherever you're going. So the whole of this week is going to be raining. Let's go to Cairo, and this is the capital city of Egypt. This week, we're going to be having some sunshine and partly cloudy. So don't worry about anything. Don't carry an umbrella because we're not expecting any rain this week. And maybe you can carry a jacket. You never know, because we are expecting to have some clouds. Yeah. From Cairo, let's go to Khartoum, and this is the capital city of Sudan. So this city is so hot. No rain expected this week. Yeah. And from there, let's go straight to East Africa, and that's Dodoma, the capital city of Tanzania. This week, we are expecting some thunder and partly cloudy, so we are having a mixture of weather this week. But we don't expect any rain, so don't worry about carrying umbrella, jackets, no. Just be ready for thunder and be a little bit careful. Let's go straight to West Africa, and we're in the Gambia. So the capital city of the Gambia is Banjul. This week, the weather sunny all the time. And ladies, please, don't forget to carry your sunscreen. You need to be a little bit careful with your skin. And you can even try to visit the beach and have some fun. Yes. Still in the West Africa, let's go straight to Bamako, and this is the capital city of Mali. Just like the neighbor, this city is hot. It is too hot and it is full of life. So if you plan to have a vacation there, or if you live there, try to have some fun, go to the beach, wear anything you feel like, because yeah, it is full of life. Thanks for watching Kinganda. Thanks for watching Weather Forecast Africa. This is Allen Nelson, your weather girl, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Allen Nelson 5, on Facebook Allen Nelson, and don't forget to follow Kinganda. If you're new on this channel, don't forget to hit a like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Información importante del pronóstico del tiempo: 23 grados actualmente en la temperatura, esperamos 30 como máxima. Recuerden que se pueden presentar chubascos, tormentas de corta duración solo en algunos puntos. Esto lo esperamos ya con mayor porcentaje para jueves y viernes. Tome nota si tiene planes o actividades esos días. Ya más adelante les platico los detalles.
Gracias, Ceci. Héctor González, ¿cómo te va?
Mañana a esta hora de la tarde tenemos información del pronóstico del tiempo, las condiciones estables ya en la mayor parte de nuestro país. Estables me refiero en cuanto a lluvia, porque las temperaturas, eso sí, son elevadas y son asociados a un anticiclón en la altura que domina todavía hacia el sur de Estados Unidos, noroeste, norte y noreste de nuestro país, y lo podemos apreciar aquí en pantalla. Donde se reportan algunos chubascos y tormentas es en occidente, centro y sureste del país. Pero bueno, vamos a platicar de lo que tenemos nosotros en la ciudad, porque sabemos que prácticamente todo el calor ahora sí que se fue a la parte norte del territorio nacional. Nosotros con 30 grados en la ciudad, pero esperamos se presenten chubascos de forma ocasional solamente en algunos puntos de la zona metropolitana del Valle de México. 21 grados para finalizar, con algunas nubes en el cielo, y tomen a consideración en planes de actividades que la posibilidad de precipitación tiende a incrementar, pero para el próximo jueves y viernes. Aquí lo podemos apreciar, con mínimas de 14 a 15 y máxima de 29 todavía para el miércoles, 25 a 26 para la tarde de jueves y viernes. La nubosidad incrementa ya para terminar la semana, y con ello la lluvia y la actividad eléctrica. Así que tomen nota si tienen planes o actividades, y sobre todo si son al aire libre esos próximos días. Atizapán, Tlalnepantla, Naucalpan con 28 grados, 29 para Ecatepec, Texcoco, Nesa, Chalco con valores muy similares. Hoy no se descarta que se pueda reportar algo de lluvia, algo de muy corta duración. No esperamos nada relevante, por lo menos hoy y mañana miércoles. Ya les comentaba, incrementan precipitaciones hasta el jueves. Guadalajara con 32 22 grados por las tardes, parcialmente soleado y no se salva de la lluvia porque tiene un porcentaje del 30-40 hoy y los próximos 2 días. Toluca mínimas de 8 a 9, máxima de 25 esta tarde, 24 mañana y 21 para el jueves porque se nubla y también se reportará lluvia en un 70%. Querétaro con 32, Morelia con 29, Cuernavaca con 30, Puebla con 28. Se espera algunos chubascos por lo menos en Puebla, Morelia y Cuernavaca. Hoy hubo cambio de fase lunar, a partir de ahora tenemos luna creciente. Es la información y que tengan excelente tarde. Buenas tardes, Jaime. Tenemos 27 grados en la temperatura, el ambiente es cálido sin duda en la ciudad. Hasta el momento no se ha reportado lluvia. La imagen, bueno, pues sí podemos apreciar que no se ve la mejor calidad del aire, pero esto sobre todo en zonas como Xochimilco, en Iztapalapa, en Iztacalco, y ahí podemos apreciar que en esta parte se mantienen todos estos circulitos o bolitas en color naranja que nos indican una mala calidad del aire. La otra mitad y en mayor parte del Estado de México se mantiene en color amarillo que nos indica calidad del aire aceptable, regular, pero bueno, en su mayoría es mala. Por ahora la estación de Chalco, que justo ahí lo podemos apreciar, es la que mayor índice de contaminantes presenta. Lo que tenemos es exceso de ozono y tiene un índice de 113, así que hay que tomar las debidas precauciones. Lo bueno es que el viento sopla, lo bueno es que incluso los próximos días se espera más lluvia, más tormentas, y esto pues podría ayudar a mitigar un poquito estas altas temperaturas. Las nubes también pues a mitigar un poco los rayos UV y de esta forma no llegar a una contingencia ambiental esta semana. Pero bueno, esperamos lluvia a partir del próximo jueves en mayor cantidad. Por lo pronto nos mantenemos así con mala calidad del aire. Precaución al momento de salir a realizar alguna actividad al aire libre.
¿Qué tal, amigos? ¿Cómo están? Yo soy Gabriela Aguilar y este es el pronóstico del tiempo para hoy y el resto de la semana. Hoy tendremos una máxima de 88 grados y una mínima de 64. Lluvia esporádica, 60% de precipitación y los vientos van hacia el noreste con 6 millas por hora. Para mañana la máxima será de 83 grados y la mínima de 67. Lluvia todo el día con 60% de precipitación y los vientos van hacia el noreste con 7 millas por hora. Para el domingo la máxima será de 88 grados y la mínima de 68. Lluvia esporádica, 40% de precipitación y los vientos van hacia el sureste con 8 millas por hora. Y para el lunes la máxima será de 91 grados y la mínima de 69. El día en su mayoría soleado con 20% de precipitación y los vientos van hacia el suroeste con 8 millas por hora. De mi parte es todo, muchas gracias por acompañarnos, siga con nosotros y recuerde que este segmento es patrocinado por tu periódico Hola Noticias.
What a way to start the week.
It's good though it's not Santa Ana's with
That's
heat,
true.
right?
Yes, it's good that it's a cold wind. We definitely need that. We got some wet weather this weekend, so that was nice. And now we just have nice clear skies. Winds have really cleared out the skies. It's nice and crisp out there, but it is windy and it is chilly, and that's why we've got some warnings to tell you about. I'll get to those in a moment, but first let's talk temperatures, why don't we? 68 for the high downtown. 75 is your normal high this time of year. So we went from record heat last week to now temperatures running below average. That's going to be the trend for the next few days. It is cool out there tonight, and with those northwesterly winds, it feels even cooler than it is. Temperatures anywhere from the mid to lower 60s across much of Southern California. Mission Viejo now down into the 50s. We're going to have some lows getting down into the 20s in Big Bear, 30s in the Antelope Valley, 40s and 50s for the rest of us. So it is windy. We did talk about those very strong winds. The wind sustained at about 15 miles an hour right now. Gusts possible up to 60 miles an hour in the mountains of LA and Ventura counties, and that's why we have that high wind warning in effect through 3 a.m. tomorrow. The frost advisory for the Antelope Valley will continue through 9 a.m. tomorrow. Right before the sun rises, temperatures will get down into the lower 30s, so that's the reason for the frost advisory. Areas in blue under a wind advisory, but still winds in the valleys could even gust up to 60 miles an hour, so that's why we've got the wind warnings and advisories in place. The reason for the change in the weather, big area of low pressure, trailing front that pushed through our area last night into this morning. That's why we saw the wet weather, and behind it we've got that cold air rushing in, and those northwesterly winds are really pulling in that chilly air. So that's why we had the big change in the weather. It's going to stay a little on the cool side for the next few days. During the day, it'll be into the low 70s, but at night, those temperatures are really dropping down. Eventually, come the middle of the week, our temperatures will start to warm up. But looking at the radar, you can see most of that moisture that moved through our area earlier this morning now over the Four Corners region. There is a small craft advisory in effect out on the waters. Those west winds tomorrow, 15 knots, but gusts up to 20 knots. Surf will be 3 to 4 feet, and swells out of the west will be 4 to 6 feet. Let's take a look at that extended forecast. Again, the next few days, temperatures running a little below average. Cold out there tonight. Any sensitive vegetation, you definitely want to cover that up. Maybe bring the pets in and bundle up those kids tomorrow morning. But by the afternoon, should be nice and comfortable.
Storm Tracker forecast with neighborhood weather.
So here we are again, clear skies and another cool night. Right now we've got upper 40s in LJ, upper 50s right here for the folks in Gainesville, 59 degrees in Athens, good evening. 60 for the folks in Covington, Atlanta, your current temperature, 59 degrees. But for the fourth night in a row, we are once again looking for lows in the 40s and 50s. Let's talk about it. LJ, your low for tonight right around 40 degrees, 43 in Rome, 50 in the ATL. Remember last night we topped out in the mid-40s for lows. Covington looking at 46 degrees. So here is a look at our setup this week. We've got an area of low pressure to the north and east. And around an area of low pressure, you get a counterclockwise flow. For us, that means winds out of the northwest. That also means pretty chilly winds. But as that area of low pressure retreats to the north and east, it will allow an area of high pressure to build in from the west, and we will see warm air move our way. Even as soon as tomorrow, you'll start to feel a gradual warm-up. So, how warm will we be for your Tuesday, especially compared to today, right? Well, we'll be up a few degrees in some places. 76 will be the high in LJ, 77 in Canton, upper 70s in Atlanta, low 80s in Eatonton, and LaGrange. We're looking at numbers that will top out in the upper 70s. So your day is all about time, right? What will we see at what time? Well, by noon tomorrow, we're looking at lots of sunshine and temperatures in the upper 60s by 3 o'clock. Still nice and sunny and arguably perfect. 75 degrees by 6 o'clock. Temperatures will be up maybe a degree or two, but still really nice. And by 9 o'clock tomorrow evening, we'll still see a clear sky and temperatures in the low 60s. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you're down tomorrow. Really nice, right? Lots of sunshine, temperatures closer to average. So we will give it a 9 as we take a look at the 7-day forecast. The question is, where will this close to perfect weather go as we head toward the end of the week? Because you know it won't stick around.